Welcome, traveler. Tonight, the wide, snow-lit silence of coastal Alaska guides you toward rest. You are Dr. Rowan Price, overnight weather observer at a remote National Weather Service outpost perched on a low bluff above the Bering Sea. Outside, moonlight glints off wind-carved drifts. Inside, soft generator hum settles like a blanket over the station's metal walls. You stand in the dim operations room, wool socks on cool linoleum, parka draped across a chair. The only light comes from a muted computer monitor blinking a slow heartbeat of green. Breathe in. The air smells faintly of warm electronics and cedar from the desk. Let that scent travel across the bridge of your nose, through your chest, down to your stomach. As you breathe out, feel shoulders melt away from your ears, the space between shoulder blades loosening. On the wall, an old-fashioned weather recorder ticks once, a soft tap, marking another tiny shift in air pressure. You touch its smooth case, vibrations barely perceptible pulse beneath your fingertips. With the next inhale, imagine that quiet pulse syncing with your own, slowing every beat. To your left, the weather monitoring system waits in standby. You press the power key. A low electronic chime rises, then fades. Blue numbers bloom across the screen. Temperature, humidity, visibility, steady as calm breathing. A brief self-test beep sounds from the backup power unit. You acknowledge it with a key tap, and the tone disappears into hush. You slip a headlamp over your beanie, click it on. A warm cone of light drapes across racks of instruments. Weather balloon receiver blinking amber, coiled gas hose, neatly labeled equipment cases. The headlamp halo expands and contracts with every breath. Each expansion invites rib muscles to widen. Each contraction bids them to settle. Generator rumble outside deepens, then steadies. Diesel burning lazy in the cold. The vibration threads through floor plates into your arches, a reminder of solid footing in vast quiet. You tighten the Velcro cuff on your thermal gloves, scritch clack, and feel wrists supported, forearms relaxing. Before first observation, you reach for the leather-bound logbook. Opening it releases a whisper of dry paper and graphite. The previous shift's final entry glimmers under your lamp. Falling air pressure. Light snow showers offshore. You run fingertips over the penciled line, then breathe in once more, lifting chest, lengthening spine. With the exhale, you uncurl a fresh page. Date already printed. Waiting. A small kettle on the electric coil clicks as water reaches a shy boil. You pour into a steel mug, steam feathering into lamplight. The scent of instant cocoa unfurls, soft chocolate and faint vanilla, spreading warmth across cheeks, down throat, settling deep in belly. Let that warmth drift outward, loosening elbows, palms, even the tight bands around each finger. You glance toward the narrow staircase leading up to the roof catwalk. Wind rubs against the hatch in long sighs, inviting you to gather the first readings. But for one more breath, you stand still, wrapped in gentler sounds. Kettle settling, distant sea ice groaning under tide. Weather recorder tapping its measured cadence. Each sound is a soft hand guiding mind and muscles toward ease. Cup in hand, logbook under arm, you move toward the door, ready to greet the night sky and the instruments waiting in frosted silence. Each step is slow, assured, cushioned by thick socks and steady breath. Outside, the wind will lift strands of hair, swirl cocoa steam away, and carry with it the last traces of daytime tension, leaving only calm, focused attention and the quiet wonder of weather unfolding under the northern lights. You ease through the insulated hatch and step onto the narrow roof catwalk. A cushion of powder snow crunches under boots, soft, crisp, then silent as you plant each foot. Above, stars sharpen to pinpoints in air so clear the sky feels close enough to graze. Faint ribbons of aurora waver at the horizon, pale green breath rising from the dark. Cold rushes around cheeks and inside nostrils. You let it in on a deep inhale, coolness spreading across sinuses like menthol, sharpening focus while releasing lingering fog in the mind. Exhale. Warm vapor drifts upward, carried off by steady wind curling over handrails. First stop, the heated wind meter. A low whir pulses from its hub as internal heaters keep bearings free of ice. Under your headlamp, the propeller blades spin smooth, throwing tiny sparkles of frost. You rest a gloved hand on the mounting pole. Vibration hums into fingertips, a subtle purr recording every gust. You read the digital display mounted waist-high on the mast. Wind speed and direction glide across the screen. You speak the numbers aloud, quiet, even, letting voice vibrate chest, matching the instrument's hum. Each syllable released equals one shoulder notch relaxing downward. Next, a slim rod points skyward beside the mast, the cloud temperature sensor. It measures heat radiating from clouds above. You press its wake button. A tiny click answers. Red digits appear. Sky temperature reading confirms what eyes see. Only wispy clouds 10 miles above. You breathe in, letting sensor silence echo in ribcage. Breathe out. Tension drifts upward like those wisps. Turning, you crunch over to a short tripod, snow depth sensor, its ceramic heads aimed at snow surface below. You kneel. Headlamp beam reveals circular patterns etched in drift beneath, proof of sound waves measuring distance every minute. A small display shows depth in inches. You note incremental rise since the previous shift. Voice a soft 2.6 that leaves lips with mist and calm. Clipboard emerges from jacket pocket, pencil skates across waterproof paper. Graphite on special paper sounds like tiny skiers. With each stroke, tendons and fingers loosen. Wind stiffens, brushing parka hood. You straighten your spine straight and inhale once more, imagining wind streaming through shoulders, carrying away microscopic knots hidden there. Exhale, and feel upper arms settle heavier inside sleeves. Observation round continues to the weather shelter housing the temperature and humidity sensors. Lid lifts with faint hinge squeak. Inside, sensors glow faint green. You confirm frost-free condition, close lid, and latch. Click. That click resonates down forearm, signaling forearm muscles to soften. With readings gathered, you face the vast seaward darkness. Distant pack ice groans, deep, slow, like a cello note stretched thin. You pause, allow that bass tone to vibrate sternum gently, unlocking deeper breath. Eyes follow faint aurora strands unfurling. Each wavering arc invites eyelids to lower halfway, throat muscles to slacken. Log entries complete, you tuck pencil back, fold clipboard underarm, and turn toward hatch. Before stepping off catwalk, you rest gloved hand on cold railing. Metal bites through fabric, a quick, bracing spark. You let that pinpoint sting anchor you in present sensation, then breathe out. Warmth flooding palm where glove presses metal. Descending the short ladder, boots clomp rhythmically on steel rungs. 1, 2, inhale, exhale, landing softly on grated floor of observation room. Hatch thuds shut, Interior air feels warmer by contrast, scented with faint diesel and cocoa. You ease parka hood back, steam lifting from collar, shoulders melting inside layers as heat seeps in. Weather recorder ticks again, steady, patient. Back at desk, you unclip gloves, fingers tingling alive, and transfer numbers into the leather logbook. Graphite lines darken paper, forming a neat column beneath earlier entry. Each digit lands like a pebble dropped into still water. Tiny, satisfying ripple. You lean back, roll shoulders once more, and hear seams of jacket give a quiet rustle. Inhale. Air now carries mild scent of cedar shelves. Exhale. Rustle fades. Upper spine settling against chair. First observation round complete. Instruments humming in darkness above. Aurora waving unseen over roof. You sit poised for the next task, body already lighter, breath deeper, mind anchored by wind, frost sparkles, and the measured rhythm of weather unfolding in calm night silence. You rise from your chair and cross to the small, sheltered hangar tucked at the station's west end. Inside, the air feels noticeably warmer. Engine heat wafting from the weather balloon storage area and bubbling quietly from the gas connections. You slip on insulated gloves and inhale deeply. A blend of rubbery latex, faint ozone from compressed gas, and the lingering cedar from the operations room. As you exhale, feel your shoulders expand, then drift down like melting ice, releasing any tension held in your upper back. Before you, a rack holds cylindrical helium tanks secured by bright orange straps. You unlatch the nearest tank, steel hissing softly as you crack the valve, a sound like distant surf over gravel. You pause, placing both palms near the pressure dial. The needle on the gauge swings into full green. You breathe in through your nose. Let that confident sweep of green ward off any lingering nerves. Then exhale slowly. Shoulders settling. Next is the weather balloon itself, a roll of creamy rubber tubing nestled inside a cardboard box. You lift the box, its flaps creaking, and withdraw the deflated balloon. Its surface is cool and taut, a promise of lift waiting to be born. You rest it briefly on the metal table, fingertips tracing the thickness of the wall. Each trace sends a whisper of warmth into your fingertips, loosening wrist muscles that grip too tightly. Carefully, you stretch the neck of the balloon over a curved metal funnel attached to the helium line. The rubber fibers yield with a faint squish as you work it into place. You secure the collar with a rubber clamp, its textured surface clicking under your gloved hand. With the system primed, you count 3 steady breaths. Inhale as you steady the neck, exhale as you tighten the clamp, inhale as you align the funnel, exhale as you test the seal. Then, you open the flow valve fully. A high-pitched hiss fills the hangar as helium floods into the balloon. Its walls bulge outward like a living organism inhaling its first breath. You step back and spread arms wide, chest rising on an inhale, feeling the balloons swell mirror your own lungs. Then exhale slowly, arms lowering as the rubber expands into a perfect sphere above your head. Floating weightlessly, the balloon teeters on its own buoyancy. You grab the attached weather instrument package, its white plastic shell cool in your palm. You attach it to the balloon's neck with a slender rubber seal. The band snap-click locking into place. As the instrument's small antenna glints under the hangar lights, you run a fingertip across its surface, feeling the slight ridges where circuitry rests. You breathe in, letting the device's subtle plastic scent mingle with helium's faint sweetness. On the exhale, your jaw loosens, lids soften. Turning to the tracking antenna mounted at the far end of the hangar, you connect the instrument's tether to the receiver cable. The antenna's motors hum low, aligning to capture the upcoming data. A small screen blinks, "Ready." You place your hand on the antenna's frame, feeling the gentle vibration, a reminder of unseen data streams waiting to flow. Inhale, anchoring to that vibration. Exhale, melting any last flutter of anxiety. Before launch, you perform a humidity check. You pull a paper strip from a small box labeled Humidity Test, moisten it slightly with station water, and insert it into the instrument's tiny port. After the prescribed 30 seconds, time marked only by the slow tick of the weather recorder, you remove the strip and secure the calibration cap. You note the procedure in the logbook with a soft pencil scratch. Pencil meeting paper sounds like distant raindrops, and you let that sound settle deeper into your chest before you close the cap. Stepping back under the balloon's gentle lift, you tie a thin nylon line to its base. The knot slides taut with a soft hiss of shifting nylon fibers. As you form the final loop, you imagine each twist unwinding stress from fingertips, arms, even your core. Inhale, letting that sense of release bloom. Exhale, feeling arms grow lighter. Now for checks. You press the instrument's power button. A quick series of beeps greets you, 3 rising tones indicating battery health, an LED blinking as internal sensors wake. You place it on the hangar floor, crouch low, and observe its small screen cycle through GPS location, temperature, humidity, and pressure readings. Each line of text glows green, a silent affirmation of instrument readiness. You breathe in confidence, exhale calm. Outside, you hear the station generator dip in rhythm, a muffled echo through concrete walls. The balloon quivers with the motion, a gentle invitation. You lift the nozzle, placing it just inside the hangar threshold. A sudden gust from the sea presses against the rubber, then retreats. You step forward, heart matching the balloon's subtle dance. Inhale, cool air, salt-tinged and sharpening senses. Exhale, letting your shoulders fall full and heavy. With a final nod to the instrument's blinking green, you tug the release line. The clamp on the helium funnel opens with a soft pop. Helium surges upward, carrying the balloon free in a whispering breath. You watch as the instrument assembly lifts, buoyed by your meticulous prep, rising into gray sky. Each meter it ascends, you exhale a fraction more tension. Chest, shoulders, arms, hands, each part drifting free. The weather instrument drifts out of sight through the hangar opening. You stand beneath the hangar's flat roof, headlamp halo anchoring you in grounded presence even as the balloon sails skyward. Your breath is calm and full, your body relaxed, each muscle unwinding like the helium tracing layers of air above you. Ready for the tracking and data ahead, you turn back indoors, heart light, mind focused, spirit buoyed by that gentle launch into silent night. You step back into the operations room, where the glow of the weather computer system casts pale blue light across your face. The hum of cooling fans and gentle pulse of hard drive activity blend into the night's steady undertone. Breathe in deeply. The air here smells of circulating electronics, faint ozone, and the lingering trace of cocoa from your earlier mug. As you exhale, let tension ripple out of your arms and shoulders, leaving your posture tall yet relaxed. On the central display, a map of the night sky shows a tiny moving dot, your weather balloon climbing into darkness. You lean forward, elbows resting lightly on the console, watching data stream in every second. A soft blip plays through a low-volume speaker, each time a new GPS fix arrives. Inhale on the blink, exhale on the beat, aligning your breath with the steady cadence of ascent. To your right, a column of digital readouts updates wind speed, direction, temperature, and humidity in color-coded rows. You rest a fingertip on the table beside the console, feeling the smooth wood grain, a reminder of the station's handcrafted desk. That contrast between high-tech screens and natural grain anchors you in calm awareness. Inhale the contrast, exhale any flutter of restlessness. You select the Atmospheric Profile tab. A scrolling graph appears, the balloon's altitude versus time in a gentle diagonal arc. Numbers climb from ground level toward the upper atmosphere. You watch the curve smooth itself, sensors transmitting reliably. A slight wobble in the graph shows minor gusts aloft. You lean in, inhaling focus, then exhale as you register the evenness of the ascent, instrument and atmosphere cooperating in silent harmony. Beside the console stands the tracking antenna, its frame now aligned by motors to follow the balloon's signal. You rest your palm on its metal casing, cool, slightly vibrating. That subtle vibration threads a gentle energy through your palm, up your forearm, smoothing thoughts into steady concentration. Each moment of that sustained touch allows the mind to slow, like a pendulum settling. Raw data spills onto a second monitor. Signal strength values, data quality status, battery voltage. You confirm voltage steady at 3.6 volts. An LED glows green. Another beep sounds. Data packet received. You close your eyes for one slow breath. Inhale that soft beep. Exhale, letting shoulders drop. Outside, through the small station window, starlight twinkles on snow. Inside, you turn to the signal analyzer next. The static baseline hums around 403 megahertz, with a rising peak marking the balloon's radio signal. You adjust the gain knob with a gentle twist. Smooth resistance under fingertips. The peak sharpens, signals clear. You inhale that clarity, exhale half smile of satisfaction. Back at the weather computer screen, you bring up wind arrow overlays. A translucent map shows wind patterns updating over the station area. Each arrow flickers into place every half second. You press a shortcut key. The screen freezes for still view. You lean closer, watching arrows point northeast with steady length. You breathe in the image of uniform flow. Exhale with body easing further into the chair. A soft chime announces an incoming satellite transmission. Relay of your balloon data. You glance at the printer beside the console. The dot matrix mechanism rumbles to life, paper feeding across pins in a tight grid. That rustle of printed text, row by row, sounds like distant rainfall on metal roof. You pour the fresh feed onto the desk, letting the paper curl softly into a neat stack. Each fresh line printed confirms the upper air profile, pressure steps, humidity, temperature changes, a hidden script of the atmosphere. You remove the printout, fingers brushing tiny embossed dots. You fold it gently, lift it to the log shelf, then inhale the papery scent, slightly sweet from thermal ribbon. Exhale, and let your fingertips unclench. At the adjacent workstation, you open the data transfer system to verify uploads to the Weather Prediction Center. A scrolling list shows acknowledgement confirmations in muted green text. You take a moment to watch the words indent. Each acknowledgement a silent handshake between this station and forecasting centers across the continent. You inhale the sense of connection, exhale contentment in knowing your data flows onward. You notice a slight dip in the station's internal temperature reading. A sensor on the equipment rack hovering around 64 degrees Fahrenheit. You walk to the small wall thermostat and tap the heat button quietly. A muted click. Heating fans stir to life. You breathe in the faint scent of warmed coil. Exhale and feel chest warm, comforting you as outside temperatures hover well below freezing. During this tracking phase, you sip cool water from a steel thermos. The metallic taste is crisp, hydrating. Each sip punctuates a pause between data checks. Lift the mug, feel weight shift from palm to jaw, tilt, swallow. Inhale the clean aftertaste. Exhale and let throat loosen. Time slips forward unseen. You press the escape key to return to balloon status. Altitude passing 30,000 feet. The pop-up alert reads, "Ascent complete." A gentle tone plays, just a few notes, soft and fleeting. You inhale that brief tone, exhale the completion of one chapter in the night's work. You click to stop tracking phase. The balloon drift plot freezes, a perfect arc of color on black background. Your breath quiets to match the stillness. You lean back, shoulders rolling once, and feel the day's remaining tasks ebb in urgency. Outside, aurora waves continue their silent dance. Inside, it is calm, focused, ready for the next task, encoding and transmitting the observations. You rest fingertips atop the keyboard, electric hum beneath keys, a final pause. Breathe in the low-level life of this station. Exhale into the hush, knowing you are part of a moment held between data streams and starlight. The balloon drifts beyond reach, but your care remains in each plotted point, each beep acknowledged, each breath matched to the rhythm of night and machine. Back at your desk, you swivel to face the softly glowing monitors where blank weather report forms await your careful attention. The midnight hour feels suspended, the quiet punctuated only by gentle keyboard clicks and the low fan hum of the workstations. Inhale, the air tastes faintly of cooled coffee and warm circuitry. Exhale, shoulders drop, neck surrenders, mind settles into steady focus. You launch the weather coding software and open the hourly report template. On screen, you see fields for wind speed and direction, visibility, precipitation, and cloud cover. Methodically, you navigate each field, selecting the latest values from your logbook and instruments, confirming that each entry matches tonight's readings. Your keystrokes tap in a steady rhythm, each entry a small, deliberate action that anchors you further into calm concentration. With the routine hourly report complete, you switch to the detailed observation form. Here you encode station-level data, pressure trends, temperature changes, cloud layers, and precipitation amounts. You cross-check against your earlier notes, filling each cell with care. The act of moving from field to field, click, type, tab, becomes a soothing mantra. Inhale focus, exhale assurance, body unwinding with each completed line. Next comes the upper air message. You open the balloon data template and transfer the key atmospheric values, temperature, humidity, and wind at successive heights, into the corresponding slots. The printouts lie beside you, and you refer to them only when needed, letting the pattern of data entry guide your breath into an even cadence. With observations fully encoded, it's time to broadcast. You click Transmit via satellite, activating the station's satellite uplink. A progress bar advances as the system connects with weather satellites overhead. Each fractional advance is accompanied by a soft tone. You inhale on the rising bar, exhale as it reaches completion. A final confirmation chime signals product accepted, and you lean back to let a wave of calm gratitude wash over you. Still seated, you open the weather radio broadcast system to schedule the next coastal advisory. You paste in your newly encoded weather message, set the timing, and hit confirm. A quiet green indicator lights up, and you inhale the quiet efficiency of the moment. Data sent, forecasts seeded. Then exhale into the station's enveloping hush. A brief moment of silence follows. You close all coding windows, leaving only the ambient map display on screen. You stretch arms overhead and yield to a slow yawn, rib cage expanding, then softly collapsing. Outside, the generator's pulse steadies. The weather recorder continues its measured tap. Before moving on, you reach for the steel thermos on your desk. You twist the lid and pour hot tea into a mug. Steam spirals upward, carrying herbal notes of mint and chamomile. You inhale deeply, chest lifting, then exhale, letting each sip coax deeper relaxation. The tea's warmth seeps into your hands, down arms, and into your core. An inner hearth to guard you against the Arctic chill outside. With coding and transmissions complete, you close your eyes for one more breath in that warm station air. Exhale into the quiet confidence of a job well done. Tonight's data will inform forecasts from coast to coast. The instruments hum on. Aurora lights flicker overhead, and you prepare to drift into the next watch. Alert, yet serenely at ease. A gentle hush settles over the operations room as the midnight intensity gives way to a quieter watch. You lean back, closing your eyes for a moment's rest, and inhale the soft hum of the weather radar loop running on the far screen. Its scan pattern pauses on each angle before moving to the next, the low-volume blip of each sweep echoing like a distant heartbeat. You let that rhythm guide your breath. Inhale on the return sweep. Exhale on the outbound spin, tuning mind and body to its measured cadence. You rise and step to the window overlooking the roof. Tiny snowflakes drift past, half melting on the sill. You press a gloved palm to the cold glass, feeling the smooth chill migrate through layers, anchoring you in the moment. Outside, your rain gauge shivers with a soft metallic click each time a drop tips the measuring cup. It's averaging just a few hundredths of an inch per hour. You watch the steady clicks, inhale the faint scent of clean snow, exhale, letting weight slip from your chest. Back inside, you approach the solar radiation sensor, the dome-shaped instrument mounted on its tripod. Though night has fallen, its black body still holds residual warmth from afternoon sun. You lift a soft microfiber cloth and wipe the glass dome in slow, circular strokes. The cloth's faint citrus soap scent drifts upward. Each gentle circle invites shoulder blades to move toward each other, then relax apart as the dome gleams anew. You return to the console and open the radar display. The color gradients ripple across Alaska's coastline, each pixel testament to moisture aloft. You adjust the brightness knob on the display, a soft click, and notice the map's layers clarify. Inhale that clarity. Exhale any remaining mental fuzz. A faint chime reminds you to check the rain gauge heater, designed to keep the measuring funnel clear in sub-freezing conditions. You tap the Heater On button on the gauge controller. A small green LED glows. Outside, you'll later hear the gentle hiss of heat resisting frost. For now, you breathe in the sense of proactive care. Exhale with satisfaction at the measure taken. You return to your chair and tap open the equipment monitoring console. Fans whir beneath each rack, power supplies, backup units, network switches, all within normal ranges. You let fingertips hover over the numeric readouts, voltage, amperage, temperatures, each stable line a reassurance. Inhale on the screen's green glow. Exhale any twinge of doubt about equipment health. Behind you, a small kettle clicks on its heating base. You rise again to fetch a cup of tea. The hiss of hot water and soft creak of the tea tin punctuate the station lull. You scoop a spoonful of chamomile mint blend, steep it in the mug, and inhale the herbal swirl as it blooms. Exhale, savoring the warmth that travels down your throat and steadies your heart. You settle back into the desk chair, cup cradled in both hands. On the second monitor, you open the satellite imagery for cloud movement analysis. A slow animation plays, thin cirrus drifting across darkness. Each frame changes every few seconds, like slow-motion waves on a midnight sea. You breath match that pace. Inhale on the first frame, exhale on the next. In this lull, you review station logs from earlier shifts, maintenance checks, filter changes on the diesel generator air intake, calibration dates for the cloud temperature sensor. Your eyes skim pages, while your mind lingers on the tactile satisfaction of crisp paper against fingertips, the soft rustle as you turn each sheet. You pause to note a filter replacement due soon, pencil sliding across the log's margin in gentle arcs. Outside, the aurora brightens in green ribbons against star-black sky. You open the window just a crack to breathe in the fresh Arctic air. A swirl of metal-clean frost and distant sea salt. As you exhale, you feel lungs and ribcage expand and then soften, sinking deeper into the chair. The lull is a gift, a chance to recharge instrument and spirit alike. Around you, equipment remains vigilant, each sensor and console humming its own quiet song. You lean back, sip the last of your tea, and allow the calm to fill every muscle from scalp to soul. Soon, the next advisory or stormwatch task will call you forward. But for a few timeless minutes, the only job is to rest mind and body in the gentle embrace of station stillness. The station's dim glow softens further as the horizon begins to hint at dawn's arrival. You sense it before you see it, a muted shift in light from inky black to deep indigo. Outside, wind readings have crept upward, pressure continues its steady fall, and your alert senses tighten gently. Inhale. The air tastes of pending change. Sea spray mingled with ozone. Exhale. Let anticipation settle into focused calm. You rise and stretch to release any stiffness. Arms overhead, shoulders lifting on the inhale, falling as you exhale. Then you move to the weather recorder, noting the drum's recent steeper slope. A deeper low-pressure system is sliding over the Bering Sea. You know it's time to craft the storm advisory. Back at the console, you open the forecast template. Fields await wind speed thresholds, pressure trends, and marine impacts. You begin typing the synopsis. Strengthening storm force winds likely along the coast, seas building to significant heights, timing based on computer model guidance. Each keystroke, a soft tap, grounds you in methodical focus. Turning to the weather model output on another screen, you review pressure lines tightening over the Aleutians. A translucent animation of 3-hour pressure falls shows significant drops, a technical trigger for advisory criteria. You let your breath mirror that gentle curve. Inhale the circular arc of falling pressure lines. Exhale the confirmation that criteria are met. You draft the bulletin for weather radio. In the headline field, you enter Coastal Storm Advisory. In the body, You describe expected northeast winds at 35 to 45 knots, seas building to 15 to 20 feet, and caution for small craft. Your fingers glide over the keys, each word placed with quiet precision. You pause to read aloud one sentence, inhaling clarity, exhaling to let your shoulders ease as syntax settles. With wording confirmed, you click Schedule Broadcast. The console emits a single soft beep, and a green indicator lights beside Broadcast Sent. You inhale the sense of reach, knowing boaters, fishermen, and remote communities will soon hear your message. Exhale the satisfaction of service. Next, you listen to the weather radio speaker. Static gives way to the station's calm voice, announcing the new advisory in the traditional cadence. You lean back, letting each syllable wash over your mind like gentle waves. Inhale in rhythm with each phrase. Exhale as the advisory text fades back into static. Station maintenance calls you back. You rise and step to the small printer where the advisory is cued. The dot matrix churns softly, paper advancing line by line. The rustle of printed text sounds like pages turning in a quiet library. You tear off the printout, fold it with deliberate care, and tuck it into the outbox slot for courier pickup later. Inhale the papery scent. Exhale through relaxed lips. Outside on the roof catwalk, wind roars through the wind meter. A deep whoosh that carries across the deck. You brave a quick check. Headlamp halo cutting through swirling flakes. The heated propeller blades continue spinning, their motion a comforting reassurance. You press your palm to the mast, feeling its solid presence transferring stability into your core. Inhale the turbine's song. Exhale as tension drains through boots into snow. Back inside, you return to the main console and scroll through the radar loop one last time. A curtain of precipitation advances inland. A curtain of gray echoes the wind-driven snow now sweeping the coast. You mark in the logbook. Snow squall line moving through. Increasing winds expected. Pencil meets paper in a soft hush. Your breathing steadies further. A moment of quiet reflection follows. You sip a final swallow of tea, lingering warmth clinging in throat. Inhale its calm. Exhale any residual alertness. The aurora above still dances beyond the window, unseen but sensed in faint color shifts on your instrument screens. Pre-dawn storm watch complete, you feel the measured confidence of a night's work guiding mariners and shore communities. Each procedure, analysis, coding, broadcast, verification, has unfolded in patient rhythm. Each breath and action woven into the station's vigilant tapestry. As you settle back into your chair, the first pale line of light stretches across the wall. Your mind drifts briefly to the bunkhouse, awaiting sleep. But for now, you remain alert, yet serene, prepared to respond as wind and snow continue their nightly symphony, steadfastly cradled by your careful watch. As the first thread of dawn weaves pale light across the horizon, you know your overnight watch is complete. You rise from the console and take a moment to attend one final duty. Printing the observation summary for the day shift. You open the small printer, its dot matrix pins clicking in soft staccato, and out emerges the formatted log of wind, temperature, visibility, and sky conditions. Each line prints like a gentle drumbeat. You tear off the report, its edges softly curling, inhale the warm whir of the motor, and exhale any last hint of tension. Next, you secure instruments for daytime slumber. You tap the standby button on the weather monitoring system, its screen dimming to a low-power glow. The balloon receiver is powered down, the antenna releasing with a muted click. You sweep the hangar floor with a handheld brush, soft bristles whispering across metal grating to lift stray snow and ice pellets. Each stroke invites shoulder blades to draw together, then relax apart as debris drifts into a small dustpan. Inside the operations room, you close the weather computer display, letting the screen fade from active data to a dark mirror. The radar workstation is logged off, monitors standing silent. The final act, you switch off the weather recorder light, leaving only the faint drum tapping on paper under soft shadow. You run fingertips across its polished case one last time, feeling subtle warmth from the room beneath your gloves. You gather your parka and gloves, stashing them in the locker by the door. The scent of worn goose down mingles with residual heat from the station interior. Inhale that cozy mix. Exhale fully, feeling ribs and spine melt into a calm readiness for rest. Before stepping outside, you pause at the kitchenette and brew a small cup of herbal tea, ginger and lemon for gentle warmth. The kettle gurgles softly. Steam spirals from the spout. You pour into a ceramic mug, glaze cool beneath your fingers, then lift it to your lips. Sip slowly. The subtle spice anchors you. Inhale its warmth. Exhale lingering watchfulness. You heft a final clipboard, tonight's logbook closed and secured. Under one arm, open the insulated door and step into the soft twilight. The station exterior glows faintly beneath floodlights, each beam softened by drifting snow. Crisp flakes patter on parka hood. You zip up, collar high. Breathe in the pristine air. A clear metallic note like distant chimes. Exhale, letting shoulders drop as the night's duties slip away. The walk to the bunkhouse is just steps along a heated corridor of steel grating. Your footsteps echo softly. Sole on grating, knee and hip joints moving in calm rhythm. You pause at the corner, lean into the slight breeze whispering down the hall, and inhale the scent of snowmelt runoff passing below. Exhale, feeling a wave of contentment pulse from chest to toes. At the bunkhouse door, you enter a warm vestibule. A row of berths lines the narrow room. Each bunk lies neatly made, pillows fluffed. You select your station, place the mug on a small shelf, and click a soft switch to dim the overhead lamp to its lowest nightlight setting. Shadows cascade across bunks, folding walls into a gentle cocoon. You settle into your chosen bunk, thick foam mattress covered in wool blanket, and unlaced boots, feeling toes freed in wool socks. You tuck the clipboard under the pillow. A final flash in the window catches your eye. The aurora's green glow pulsing faintly above the station roof. A silent lullaby of light. You inhale that vision, its gentle undulations stretching across chest, and exhale, letting eyelids descend. In the hush, you feel the rhythmic echo of overnight wind still humming in your ears, the measured drum of the weather recorder faint behind closed eyelids, the soft click of printer pins like distant rainfall. Each memory drifts across your mind in slow motion, inviting every muscle to uncoil. Jaw, neck, shoulders, arms, back, legs, until only peaceful calm remains. Your final breath widens ribs like sails catching gentle breeze. The exhale carries you beyond words, beyond waking thought. Outside, dawn breaks fully, but inside these walls, you rest, cradled by silence, buoyed by the night's work, and guided into deep, unbroken sleep by the softest hum of the station you keep.